Good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday, and I just thought I would pop on here to do a live and take some questions. I always get so many, so I'm so happy to have you. Hi, Amy. Welcome. Hi, Monchi baby. There's a bunch of you hopping on already. Wow, that's awesome. Hi, guys. I hope that everyone is doing well. Hi Liz, Amy, Tiny Mouth, Hannah Box, Coca Bell. Why don't you guys let me know where you guys are all from? Oh, Hannah's from Morocco. So cool. My family's actually from Egypt initially. So welcome. So nice to have you. Hi Laura Dane. Fig Pediatric. Hello, hello. And Shrujaban. Hello and welcome. Maniel is from Ohio and Cocabelle is from Glen Falls, New York. So cool. Hi Monchi Baby Massage from Miami. You're asking if I speak Arabic. I actually do. Jess, you're from Ontario. I grew up in Toronto actually, in Mississauga. And I do speak Arabic, and I speak French, and I speak Spanish, and English, obviously. So happy to have you guys here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to just put them down below. I basically will answer whatever you guys want about tongue ties, lip ties, personal questions, questions about any of the exercises that I post about or talk about. Has anybody heard of this thing that Instagram is doing now called badges? I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something called a badge that, I don't know. I don't really know how it works. Ayurveda women and children. Ooh, I want to be your friend. Welcome. Vika, welcome. Tiny Touch, hi. Tiny Touch is in my local city. So nice to have you. Welcome. So Hannah is asking, how old should a baby be to purchase teethers? So I actually recommend purchasing teethers as soon as your baby is really drooling and starting to put things in their mouth. Anywhere from 6 weeks old and on. Initially, their hands are still kind of fisted and they don't open them, so they're not really holding and putting things in their mouth. So you could bring the toy to their mouth for them to allow their tongue to exercise. But eventually, as they do around that 10 to 12 week mark, they're going to start grabbing things and putting them to their mouth. They will hold them themselves, but that is a great way to encourage that. So anywhere from 6 weeks on, you can start using them. Cocabella is asking what the best exercises are inside the mouth to improve the suck and latch. There's actually a whole lot of different exercises that you could do, and I actually have them listed in my webinar. I have a whole bunch of exercises that will help the neck and the mouth and the tongue all move better to allow for better sucking and latching. So definitely check that out. Doctora Silvia Castro, hello, hello, welcome. Trying to keep up here with everybody. Oh, the FamSummit is here. Amy, what is the best toy to start using at 4 months? My son had his ties released at 11 days. There are a whole bunch of teether toys that I recommend. Check them out on my page. And also, I have an Amazon shop where you could look and order them all there. And also look through my exercise highlights. I have tons of different activities and toys that you can see how I use them and what different toys are. I love the InnoBaby toys. I love some of the Manhattan toys. I love the Komotomo teether. So many different things that you can give a try. Where did FamSummit go? Now let me see.
So, how are you doing? And
Hello, hello, welcome.
time. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Super hot there right now? Or you're
In New York, New Jersey, well, I'm sitting in my basement office with the air conditioning on, so I couldn't tell you.
it's like an 11 here in California, and so we're
Okay,
like
not that hot.
so I was hearing about all of your, so I personally had 2 kids with tongue and lip ties.
Oh, no way.
Discovered you, and asked you to speak at the summit. I was like, this is amazing. I didn't even know there were physical therapists for this. I just saw the specialist, had the lasering done. My issue wasn't with breastfeeding, so I didn't follow up with a lactation consultant. So I didn't know about the exercise. But it affected their speech and everything else later, which is one thing I feel like people are, oh, well, if it's not an issue, it doesn't hurt to latch, then I don't worry about it. But it affects so many different things, is what I always tell people, like, wait too long. But hearing about like the different tools you can use, I heard you have an Amazon shop. I'm checking that out because I'm 29 weeks pregnant, so I'm going to add all of that to my baby registry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so cool to hear. Congratulations. I didn't realize that you were pregnant.
So our last child. Yes.
That's awesome. I stopped at 3, but I always say I wish I should have gone more.
You just never know. So at the point you're talking on and lip as well, I saw that you had like a ton of questions coming.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
Oh, you are? Is this a little bit better? Maybe because I had it set down.
It just keeps like blanking out.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Hi, Edie.
Hi.
Let's see. So I know I wanted to let you in, and then I was also answering questions. Dr. Sylvia was asking about the best exercises to help with the posterior tongue tie. And I always have so many more questions to ask when people ask me questions. Because I'm a physical therapist, I feel like I try and put as much out there for general exercise recommendations, but really things that are really custom tailored to what the baby specifically needs. So in terms of exercises, it really depends. Is the palate high? Is the tongue moving well? There's so many other things that I need to know before I can just recommend the best exercises. But generally speaking, I always say tummy time is super, super important. Tummy time stretches and strengthens all this area here, which just happens to also be where the tongue lies. So it's a great and easy way to sort of get in some exercise, get in some strengthening, and work on the neck and head and tongue all at the same time. Those are always my favorites, but I always recommend working with a physical therapist who can really customize a program for you.
And what type of tummy time would you say is preferred? I mean, I know there's the floor, which is usually the go-to, but, laying on your chest or wearing is considered tummy time as well. Would you say that, one is obviously better than the other, or as long as they can get some sort of tummy time in, it's still helpful?
So that's an awesome question. Yeah. And I always liken tummy time to a plank. So, for example, to do tummy time on the floor is like asking a mama to do a plank after being pregnant for so long. It's just not possible. The muscles aren't strong enough. So you do it for 5-10 seconds and then you poop out or you fatigue. And so being able to do tummy time on the floor for a baby is very similar to that. So I always say, let's start slow, right? I don't like them to be unhappy. and then you just work their way up. Some of the stuff you suggested are always my go-tos, which I absolutely love. So putting a baby chest to chest and allowing them to look up at you, push through their hands, look side to side. That's all we're really going for when they're so young. But just allowing them to start using those muscles within whatever strength tolerance that they have. I love doing it on the lap. I love doing it in a baby carrier, like you mentioned. Baby wearers are great for so many reasons. It's helpful for breastfeeding. It's great to prevent a flat head. It does strengthen the head, the neck, the trunk. So many great benefits of baby wearing as well. So those are just a few ways that you can start doing tummy time. I always, I find that a lot of pediatricians recommend like a half hour of tummy time a day, but that just like stresses out parents and stresses out babies. So I don't like to go by a time. I actually like to go by what I call is frequency. So doing more of it throughout the day rather than trying to jam it all into one session really allows the baby to get that strength that they need to continue to be able to do it happily on the floor. So baby wearing during the day, as long as the baby's awake, it counts as tummy time because they need to be, you know, activating their muscles. That's how they get stronger. But yeah, so tummy time is really one of my go-tos for everything.
At what age would you say, okay, just them lifting the baby carrier is not sufficient? Start, you know, they've built up their muscles now. They should start doing more of the, you know, just strictly on the floor or mat or whatever type of.
I always say, yeah, it's a great question. I always say baby's tolerance is number one, because if a baby could be 5 months old but has never tried to do tummy time, so I wouldn't expect them to be strong enough. So I don't like attaching an age to it at all. It's really more about the muscles and how strong they are. So I always say start up here and give it a try. If they're unhappy, then you're going to take them out of it. If they're willing to play a little bit, then you get down right on the floor with them, show them some black and white pictures, and, you know, just a mirror is another great way to do some tummy time to help them adjust and last a little bit longer. That also motivates them. They love looking at themselves. And also mama's voice, mama's face. So being right down there with them is always helpful. So I always say to try to put it into your routine a little bit. But there's other ways to try it if they don't like being on their bellies on the floor.
Okay, that's awesome. And I feel like that relieves so much pressure on parents. There's so much, well, have you done 20 minutes or 30 minutes? They're like, well, my baby can't stand it. And so that's amazing advice. You know, thinking of it as a plan. I can't do that either.
That's right. And that's what I always say, that like just take each session for what it is. So build it into your routine. I love recommending that you do it on the change table. So after changing, they tend to be really happy at that time. They're not too hungry. They're willing to play. They're up high. So they're at a different like vantage point. And then you're also like free and available to play with them, because it's not like you're trying to multitask at that point. So you flip them right over on the change table. You could hang something there, have some toys around that they only get to see when they're playing, and just hang out there for a few minutes. You know, sometimes the baby will last for 3-4 minutes, and some it'll only be 30 seconds. And then, like you said, it alleviates the guilt. So you're going to do whatever they tolerate at that point, knowing that your next sleep feed cycle, you're going to do it again.
That's awesome. We have a few more questions here for Dr. Gigi.
Okay, cool.
So tips for a strong latch, I think that probably requires like a longer consult, right? Like it depends on a lot of factors. And then should I be concerned with my 2-month-old strong gag reflex? Pediatric revise the lip ties, no tongue ties though.
So a strong gag reflex is always indicative that the tongue is not touching the palate, and it's very common to see in babies who have had lip ties and tongue ties. Number one, you have to make sure that there really isn't a tongue tie there, because generally it's very uncommon that you would see a lip tie without a tongue tie. So you need to make sure that whoever's assessing it really knows what they're doing. Secondly, that gag reflex, there's a couple, I actually just posted on this recently, but I have some great toys that I recommend to let